A leader from the African Savanna steps up with an idea that changes everything. In just months, Silicon Valley's tech giants are left speechless, their systems outdone by a single invention. It's a story of courage, brilliance, and a shock that's rippling across the U.S. This is From Savannah to Silicon Valley, African Leaders' Invention Shocks. A tale of innovation that's rewriting the future. If you love Africa's power, hit that subscribe button now. Let's get started. Hello, curious minds and future innovators. Today, we're stepping into an incredible story that bridges two worlds, the vast, golden savanna of Africa and the high-tech hub of Silicon Valley. This isn't just about technology. It's about a leader who turned a dream into a device that's shaking the foundations of American innovation. Get ready to meet someone who started with nothing but vision and ended up challenging the biggest names in tech. This is a journey of grit, genius, and a surprise that no one saw coming, least of all the U.S. Our story begins in a small village in Tanzania, where the savanna stretches out under a wide, open sky. Here, a man named Zawadi Mwangi grew up tending cattle and learning from the land. His childhood was simple. Nights lit by stars, days filled with the rhythm of village life. But Zawadi had a different spark. While others saw limits, he saw possibilities. He taught himself engineering with borrowed books, dreaming of a day when his homeland wouldn't rely on outdated systems. That dream took root, and when he became a leader in 2023, he had the chance to make it real. Zawadi's rise wasn't easy. Tanzania faced power outages and a digital gap that kept it disconnected from the global stage. Meanwhile, across the ocean, Silicon Valley thrived, home to companies like Amazon, Microsoft, and Tesla, churning out cutting-edge tech that powered the world. The U.S. saw itself as a leader in innovation, with billions invested in artificial intelligence and green energy. Zawadi, though, had a different vision. He believed Africa could leap forward, skipping the slow climb others had taken. With a small team of local inventors, he set out to create something revolutionary, working in a makeshift lab under the Savannah sun. By early 2025, whispers started spreading. A prototype was being tested in Dar es Salaam, a device that could store solar energy more efficiently than anything on the market. The tech world laughed it off. How could a leader from a rural African nation outpace the likes of Silicon Valley's elite? But Zawadi pressed on, driven by a mission to light up his country and prove a point. His invention wasn't just about power. It was about pride. On September 1st, 2025, at a global tech conference in Nairobi, Zawadi took the stage. Dressed in a simple kanga, he held up a sleek, handheld device, a solar energy cube that could run a home for weeks on a single charge. The room fell silent, then erupted. Tech leaders from the U.S. watched, stunned, as Zawadi demonstrated how his cube outperformed their best batteries. Silicon Valley's giants scrambled to understand it, realizing this could disrupt their industries. This wasn't just an invention, it was a wake-up call. Zawadi's creation promised to bring affordable energy to millions in Africa while forcing American companies to rethink their strategies. But how did he do it? Stay tuned as we dive deeper into this shocking breakthrough, where Savannah wisdom meets Silicon Valley's challenge. You won't want to miss what's next. A leader from the African Savannah steps up with an idea that changes everything. In just months, Silicon Valley's tech giants are left speechless, their systems outdone by Zawadi Mwangi stands at the center of it all, his solar energy cube gleaming under the conference lights. This Tanzanian leader's journey from a cattle-herding village to this moment is nothing short of amazing. Growing up, he watched his community struggle with flickering lights and no internet, dreaming of a better way. Now, he's facing the world's tech experts, ready to show them what Africa can do. His invention isn't just a gadget. It's a promise to change lives, started with his own people, and it's got Silicon Valley buzzing with both excitement and worry. Zawadi's story is rooted in the Savannah's lessons. As a kid, he learned patience from the slow rains and resourcefulness from making do with little. Those early days shaped him, turning him into a leader who thinks differently. When he took charge of Tanzania in 2023, he didn't just want to fix power outages. He wanted to leap ahead. He gathered a team of young inventors from across East Africa, people who knew the land's challenges firsthand. Together, They worked in a small shed, using scrap metal and second-hand tools, fueled by a shared belief that Africa could lead the way. The idea for the solar cube came from necessity. Villages like Zawadi's relied on weak solar panels that failed during cloudy days. He wanted something better, something that could store energy for weeks, not hours. With his team, he spent months experimenting, testing designs under the harsh sun. They drew inspiration from nature, mimicking how termite mounds stay cool in heat to regulate the cube's temperature. By 2024, they had a working model, a compact device that soaked up sunlight and held onto it like a camel stores water. It was simple yet brilliant, and Zawadi knew it could change everything. Word of the project leaked out, reaching tech circles in the U.S. At first, it was dismissed. Silicon Valley's leaders, used to dominating with flashy gadgets, chuckled at the thought of a rural African leader outdoing them. Companies like Tesla were busy with their own battery innovations, confident their expertise couldn't be matched. But Zawadi kept pushing. He traveled to neighboring countries, training locals to build the cubes, turning his invention into a movement. By mid-2025, small factories popped up in Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda, producing cubes that lit up homes and schools. Then came the big reveal on September 1st, 2025, at the Nairobi Tech Summit. Zawadi walked onto the stage, his calm demeanor hiding the storm of anticipation. He held up the cube, its surface smooth and reflective, and explained how it worked. One charge under the sun could power a family's lights, phones, and even a fridge for 30 days. The audience, filled with engineers, investors, and U.S. tech reps, leaned forward. When he plugged it into a demo setup, the room gasped. The cube outperformed a leading American battery by 40%, all while costing half as much to make. It wasn't just efficient. It was affordable. The reaction was electric. U.S. tech leaders, including reps from major firms, rushed to their phones, calling headquarters. Some saw a threat, others an opportunity. Social media lit up with hashtag Savanna Tech, with people marveling at how a leader from Tanzania outsmarted the tech world. Zawadi's invention promised to bring electricity to millions in Africa, reducing reliance on foreign aid. But it also hit the U.S. hard. American companies used to exporting tech now faced a product that could flood their markets or force them to adapt. Zawadi's quiet confidence grew as he spoke of empowering his people, his voice steady. This is for every child who dreams under our sky. Yet, the journey wasn't over. Building the cubes was one thing. Getting them into homes and convincing the world of their worth was another. Zawadi knew the U.S. wouldn't sit still. Tech giants might copy or compete, but he had a head start. His next step? Scaling production and proving the cube's value on a global stage. Stay with me as we explore how this invention transforms lives and challenges the giants, where Savanna's wisdom meets the future. Zawadi Mwangi's solar cube has the world talking, its glow lighting up homes from Tanzania to beyond. That Nairobi summit on September 1st, 2025, was just the beginning. Now, his invention is rolling out, changing lives and shaking up Silicon Valley. But the real test is here. Can this Tanzanian leader turn a single demo into a global force? The U.S. tech giants are watching, and the stakes are higher than ever. Let's dive into how this Savannah-born breakthrough is taking on the world. Zawadi's vision kicked into high gear after the summit. The cube's success wasn't just a moment, it was a movement. Back in Tanzania, he turned the small shed lab into a full factory, hiring hundreds of local workers to build the devices. The process was simple. Panels soaked up sunlight, the cube stored it, and communities got power. By October 2025, the first batch reached villages, where kids studied under bright lights for the first time, and families ran small businesses with steady electricity. Word spread fast, and demand soared across East Africa. Rwanda and Kenya joined in, setting up their own production lines, turning Zawadi's idea into a regional triumph. The U.S. couldn't ignore it. Tech companies like Tesla and General Electric sent scouts to Africa, analyzing the cube's design. They found it used a unique gel-based storage system, inspired by the Savannah's resilience, that beat their lithium batteries in durability. American media buzzed with headlines like African Tech Threat and Silicon Valley's new rival. Some U.S. firms tried to buy Zawadi out, offering millions, but he refused. "This is for my people," he said, his voice firm. Instead, he partnered with African universities to train more engineers, ensuring the technology stayed homegrown. By December 2025, over 50,000 cubes were in use, lighting up homes and schools. The impact hit the U.S. hard. Small towns in states like California and Texas, struggling with high energy costs, started importing the cubes through gray markets. Online forums lit up with reviews. "Cheaper and lasts longer." Customers loved it, but U.S. manufacturers panicked. They lobbied Washington, pushing for tariffs on the imports, claiming it threatened jobs. Zawadi responded with a bold move, offering to license the tech to American companies, but only if they built factories in Africa. It was a savvy play, forcing the U.S. to choose between competition and collaboration. Some, like a startup in Oregon, agreed, creating a surprising alliance. The global stage amplified Zawadi's win. At the UN Climate Conference in January 2026, he showcased how the cube cut carbon emissions by powering off-grid villages. World leaders applauded, and the U.S. delegation squirmed as their own energy policies were questioned. Zawadi's invention wasn't just tech. It was a symbol of African ingenuity, challenging the narrative that innovation comes only from the West. Social media exploded with hashtag Savanna to Silicon, with millions sharing videos of cube-powered classrooms. Even Hollywood took notice, with a documentary in the works about Zawadi's rise. But the battle isn't over. U.S. tech giants are racing to replicate the cube, pouring money into rival designs. Zawadi knows he must scale fast to stay ahead. He's planning a network of solar farms across Africa, using the cubes to store energy on a massive scale. The Savanna's wisdom, patience, and adaptation is his edge. This invention isn't just lighting bulbs. It's igniting a new era. Stick with me as we see how Zawadi turns this shock into a lasting legacy, where Africa's brilliance reshapes the future. Zawadi Mwangi Solar Cube has lit up Africa and rattled Silicon Valley, and now it's shaping a future no one expected. From that Nairobi summit to solar farms stretching across the continent, his invention is more than a gadget. It's a movement. The U.S. is still catching up, but Zawadi's got bigger plans. Let's see how this Tanzanian leader is turning a single idea into a global legacy that keeps inspiring us all. Zawadi's journey has transformed Tanzania and beyond. By early 2026, his factories were producing thousands of cubes each month, with workers trained from villages to cities. The cubes powered schools, hospitals, and markets, bringing light where there was none. In a small town near Mount Kilimanjaro, a teacher shared how her students now study at night, their grades soaring. Across Africa, the story was the same. People felt empowered, and Zawadi's name became a symbol of hope. He didn't stop there. He launched a program to give cubes to the poorest communities for free, funded by sales to wealthier regions. It was a bold move, showing the world that profit and purpose could go hand in hand. The U.S. response was a mix of awe and action. By mid-2026, American companies that partnered with Zawadi opened factories in Kenya and Ghana, creating jobs on both sides of the ocean. The Oregon startup, now a rising name, reported record sales, proving the cube's appeal. But not everyone was happy. Big U.S. firms pushed back, launching their own versions of the technology, some copying Zawadi's gel-based design. Legal battles began, with patents disputed in courts. Zawadi stayed calm, using the fights to spread his message. Innovation belongs to those who share it. His openness won him allies, including environmental groups in the U.S. who praised the cube's low carbon footprint. The global impact grew huge. At the G20 summit in March 2026, Zawadi presented a plan to power half of Africa with solar cubes by 2030, cutting reliance on fossil fuels. World leaders nodded, and the U.S. pledged support, though some grumbled about losing tech dominance. The cube's success inspired other African nations to innovate. Nigeria developed a water-purifying drone, and Senegal created a wind-powered pump. Zawadi's invention sparked a wave of creativity, proving Africa wasn't just catching up, it was leading. Online, hashtag Savanna to Silicon trended daily, with millions sharing stories of cube-powered lives, from a farmer in Uganda to a doctor in Mali. Back home, Zawadi dreamed bigger. He started building solar farms in Savanna, vast fields of panels feeding energy into cube networks. By September 2026, the first farm near Dodoma was online, storing enough power to light a city. He invited U.S. engineers to learn, turning rivals into partners. The move paid off. American firms invested in the farms, seeing a chance to meet their own green energy goals. Zawadi's leadership showed that collaboration could beat competition. Kids in his village, once herding goats, now study robotics, inspired by his rise. The Savanna, once a place of struggle, became a hub of progress. This legacy isn't just about tech. It's about belief. Zawadi teaches us that big ideas can come from anywhere, even the simplest beginnings. For the U.S. audience, it's a wake-up call. Innovation doesn't need a Silicon Valley address. It needs vision, like Zawadi's, rooted in the land and its people. The Cube's journey from a shed to a global force shows that dreams can disrupt giants. Today, at 2:55 a.m. Pakistan Standard Time on September 1st, 2025, as the world sleeps, Zawadi's work lights up the night, proving the future is already here. So, what's your takeaway? Maybe it's time to chase your own big idea. Drop a comment with your thoughts. Have you seen innovation surprise you? Hit that like button, subscribe, and join us next time as we explore more stories of triumph. This is where dreams meet reality. See you soon.